Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with the very first chapter of civics, that is on equality. So, before starting this chapter, let's quickly revise what we have learned in our last class, that is in class 6, about democratic country. So, we have learned what is democracy, why India is known as the democratic, and the very important things, key elements of a democratic government. So key element of a democratic government basically includes people's participation, the resolution of conflict, and equality and justice. So in this chapter we will going to be discussing one of the important feature of democracy, that is equality. We will also look why equality is important to a democratic country, and what are the provisions of the constitution that has provided us with the equality, and is it actually applicable in our day-to-day life. So we are going to look over all this aspect of the chapter. The story starts with the chapter starts with the story of Kanta. So it was an election day, and Kanta with her friend Sujata are waiting to cast their vote. They were standing in the line. While standing in the line, Kanta said to Sujata, "Isn't it good, Suja, that we can all vote as equal citizens of our country? Even Jain Sahib is standing in line with us." Then, while casting the vote, Kanta says, "I will vote for the candidate who has promised to bring pipe water to our areas." And as the day goes on, after casting the vote, both the friends go back to their home. While going back to their homes, Kanta said to Sujata, "My daughter Gudiya is not well. I have to go to Jain Sahab house, finish the work, and then I have to ask for the advance because I want to take my daughter to the hospital." As at home, when Kanta reached her home, she realized her daughter was not well. She gave her something to drink and tell her that in the evening when we will go to the hospital. Yes, and after that she comes out of the home and she was going to the Jain Sahib house because she was a house help over there. So while going back to there, she realized that his basti, that is because she lives in the slum area, she realized that his basti is not cleaned, and that might be the reason why her daughter Guria falls ill often. So here we see the story of Kanta. From this, we come to the very first right that is given for equality by our constitution, that is equal right to vote. So, as we have seen, the story above begins with Kanta standing in line to cast her vote. Look again at the various people who are standing in line with her. Kanta recognizes her employer, Ashok Jain, and Chote Lal, her neighbor. So, what we are trying to understand over here, not only Kanta, who was her house help, the other people also are standing, like her employer Ashok Jain, whom she called as Jain Sahib, Chote Lal, her neighbor. So, despite of their economic inequalities, all of them are standing in the same line for casting their vote. So, how is it possible? It is possible because in a democratic country like India, all adults, irrespective of what religion they belong to, how much education they have or had, what caste they are, or whether they are rich or poor, are allowed to vote. And this particular concept is known as the universal adult franchise. Yes, this we have learned in our class 6th also. So why universal adult franchise is an important concept when we talk about equality. It is an important concept when we talk about equality because it states that every adult in a country, irrespective of their wealth and the communities she or he belongs to, has one vote. And Kanta is excited to vote and happy that she is equal to all of the others because each of them has one vote. So basically, this particular concept, universal adult franchise, what it say, all the adults in a country have an equal right to vote, and each person has one vote. So while Kanta was casting her vote, she was very happy. Yes, that I am also having one vote, and my neighbor, my employer, they are also having one vote. So while in this particular purpose, we all are equal. But what happened? As the days go on, Kanta becomes less certain about what this equality really means. That means, while going back to, we remember in this story, while going back to home, she was discussing with her friend Sujata. My daughter is not well, and I had to take her to the hospital, but I don't have money, and I have to take advance from my employer. So this particular thing, yes, makes Kanta unsure that while casting vote, we are equal. But when it comes to facilities, when it comes to living condition, are we equal? No, it depends on the economic status. Yes, so we will see the last paragraph. What is it that makes Kanta unsure? Let's take a look at a day in her life. She lives in a slum and has a drain behind her house. Her daughter is sick, but she cannot take the day off from work because she needs to borrow money from her employers to take her child to the doctor. Her job as a domestic help tries her out, and finally she ends her day by again standing in a long line. This line in front of government hospital is unlike the one in the morning because most of the people standing in it are poor. So why this particular line where the Kanta is standing with her daughter in the government hospital is different from the one line she was standing in the morning while casting the vote? Because if, see, we will see two case. First, if Kanta and Jain Saab, Kanta and her employer Jain Saab, है ना, if Jain Sahab has to visit hospital, he would opt for a private hospital where cleanliness is there, and obviously there is no need to be standing in the line. But because Kanta can't afford that, she has to opt for government hospital and take her daughter over there and to her stand in the line in a long queue. So this is the one story where we come to see that yes, there is equal right to vote in our country. We adopt the idea of universal adult franchise. But when we talk about equality, economic status of a person is the one of the factor that affect equality in our country. As we proceed further, there's another topic starts, that is other kinds of equality. So in this particular topic, we will see two story. Yes. So before starting that, yes. Okay. So we have seen that economic inequality, that is being poor or rich, is one of the criteria of discrimination, or one of the criteria you can say by which we are not attaining full equality in our country. But there are other reasons also. So here you can see in this particular factor, one of the more common form of inequality in India is the caste system. Now how we can say that? Generally we think कि अगर रूरल एरियाज़ हैं, है ना, पिछड़ा हुआ इलाका है, तो वहाँ पे ज़्यादातर लोगों को दिक्कत होती है, वहाँ पे ये चीज़ें होती हैं, इनइक्वालिटीज़ होती हैं, वहाँ उनके साथ भेदभाव किया जाता है. बट इट डजंट like that only. In the urban areas also it is there. We will see it with the example. This is the cut cut cuts of newspaper, a matrimonial page. You can see over here, this is the first one. Mein alliance invited for 32 mms 5 feet 4 inch fair beautiful girl, and in the end it is written caste no bar but SC ST excuse. Yes, in the another also you can see qualified beautiful tall girl for Gupta boy. See, again in the third article. So here we can see कि in the in the mind of urban people also inequality exists on the basis of on the basis of caste. Now as I told you, we will discuss two stories in this. One of the story is about Om Prakash Valmiki, which we will be discussing in that. So in the class 6th we have learned Dalit. Now who is Dalit? Over here meaning is given again. This is important. Dalit is a term that the so-called lower caste use to address themselves. Dalit means broken, and by using this word, lower caste are pointing to how they were and continue to be seriously discriminated against. So yes, now Dalit Om Prakash Valmiki is a famous writer, and in his autobiography, that is Juthan, he writes its experience about it. Now we will quickly look into what he has written in his autobiography. I had to sit away from others in class, and that too on the floor. The mat ran out before reaching the spot, and I sat on. Sometimes I would have to sit away behind everybody, right near the door, and sometimes they would beat me without any reason. So Om Prakash Valmiki is saying कि जब वो स्कूल में थे, बिकॉज ही वॉज अ दलित, उन्हें ज़मीन पे बैठाया जाता था, कई बार सारे बच्चों के पीछे बैठाया जाता था और कई बार सीधा दरवाजे के पास. एंड many times it happened the children or the teacher beat him without any reason just because he was belonging to a low caste. Yes, when he was in class 6, now another experience or another instance from the autobiography Jutan. When he was in class 6, the headmaster asked Om Prakash to sweep the school and the playground. He writes, the playground was way larger than my small physique could handle and inclined it. My back began to ache. My face was covered with dust. Dust had gone inside my mouth. The other children in my class were studying and I was sweeping. Headmaster was sitting in his room and watching me. I was not even allowed to get a drink of water. I swept the whole day. From the doors and windows of the schoolrooms, the eyes of the teachers and the boys saw this spectacle. So what happened? One day, headmaster ने ओम प्रकाश जी को कहा when he was in class 6 कि today you have to clean the school. It happens, आप सोचो normally आप स्कूल में जा रहे हो, यस, आपसे कोई ऐसे नहीं बोल सकता है, बिकॉज टुडे द सिनेरियो इज चेंज्ड. बट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट years before, when, because Om Prakash was a Dalit, he was even treated badly by his teachers also. Then Om Prakash was made to sweep the school and the playground for the next couple of days, and this only came to an end when his father, who happened to be passing by, saw his son sweeping. He confronted the teacher, and then walking away from the school holding Om Prakash's hand, he said loudly for all of them to hear, "You are a teacher, so I am leaving you now. But remember this much, master, he will study right here in this school, and not just him, but there will be more coming after him." So, what happened one day? इनके डेली का रूटीन बन गया था कि ओम प्रकाश जी से स्वीप करवाया जाता था, उनसे झाड़ू लगवाया जाता था, साफ़ करवाया जाता था प्लेग्राउंड्स और स्कूल को. बट इस पे रोक तब लगी जब एक दिन उनके फादर वहाँ से गुजर रहे थे. उन्होंने अपने बेटे को ये करके थे, एंड ऑब्वियसली उन्हें अच्छा नहीं लगा, तो उन्होंने अपने बेटे का हाथ पकड़ के वो वहाँ से उसे ले गए. सो दिस इज़ वन ऑफ द स्टोरी वेयर वी हैव सीन कि caste पे. First, in the Kanta story, we have seen on the basis of economic inequality, a discrimination happened, and another story we have seen on the basis of caste. But it doesn't stop here. Let's see in our next story. This is about Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. Mr. and Mrs. Ansari was a well-to-do partners, and they were looking for a rent apartment in the city. So they contacted the property dealer. Okay, let's find out a room, find a place where we can live. So they visited the first apartment, and the Ansari liked it very much, and decided to take it. But however, when the landlady found out their names, she made an excuse about how she could not rent the house to someone who ate meat, because the building did not have any non-vegetarian residents. And both the Ansaris and the property dealer were surprised to hear this, because they could smell fish being cooked in the neighbor's house. The same excuse was repeated in the second and the third apartment. So what happened when Ansari went to the first apartment and they asked for the to take the home at the rent? The landlady made an excuse after hearing their name कि we are not giving our house on rent to the someone who is eating non-veg. But it was just an excuse. Now after that, they went to several apartments, and all of them made the same excuse. Yes. So the property dealer suggested them, you should change your name from Mr. and Mrs. Ansari to Mr. and Mrs. Kumar, and you will easily get the house. But Ansari was not ready to do this, because he was proud of his name. But because of this, it took a whole month of looking at apartment before they found a landlady who was willing to give them a place on rent. So till now we have discussed 3 stories. First, of Kanta, where we have seen discrimination on the basis of economic inequality. Then we have seen the story of Om Prakash, where the inequality was there because of the caste. And then we have seen the story of Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. Because of their surname, the inequality or the discrimination was there. So these are the few examples, and you can know about many more examples you can see in your day-to-day life. So in our next class, we will be continuing with the remaining topic, that is recognizing dignity. This is basically the continuation of the above story of Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. So we will look further about it.